Good morning, afternoon or evening, ladies, gentlemen and variations thereupon. Welcome to Nagase's Gran Turismo 7 channel, where I'll be showing you the exploits of a casual non-top split player in some of the rather interesting lobby races. Without further ado, let's get started. And so we start with Fuji Speedway, not that far from where I live, or about 80 miles or so, so not that close, but in relative terms fairly close. And starting now in the Toyota FT1, person in first position immediately going for a defensive line, but comes back onto the racing line, but I think it's gone a little bit wide. Not sure if I can put it up the inside there. That Mercedes, the AMG, has great acceleration out of the corners, so it's going to be hard to out-drag it there. But I think we've already put them under a bit of pressure, so let's see if we can try and go for P1. We seem to have got a bit of a gap to P3 and behind, although they're pretty much there, so let's see. Getting a reasonable run out of that corner, and we seem to be still keeping the Mercedes in our sights. Now coming up to the chicane. Very easy to mess up here and overshoot the brakes, hit the brake marks reasonably well I think, and get through that. Pretty close to P1 now. I'm going to take a nice wide line so we can go inwards into the apex and get a reasonable acceleration off. Seems to have better acceleration off than P1. This next corner is a bit tricky, rather tricky. It always seems to be quite a few different lines you can take through there. Not sure which is the best really, even though I've done this circuit quite a few times now. And absolutely essential now to get a good run out of the last corner. Seem to have done that quite well now into the slipstream of the Red Bull Mercedes. In front there, looks like the Turkey 2021 Red Bull livery on the Mercedes. Bit of a contradiction there, but pretty cool nonetheless. And yeah, we're going to pin him to the right here, so we're going to not go to the left until the last minute, so he has to take a tight line. I was thinking of doing the old switcheroo, but actually we seem to have got him around the outside, and actually that Mercedes will probably slightly outdrag us. Yep, you can see it there, but we have the inside line, so we need to get this right, not drift too wide so he can cut back under us. You can see him, he's going to try, but we have the inside line, and now I need to get reasonable speed through here and cover the line into the next corner, because he can put it up the inside, cover the inside line, go down to the first gear to try and just get the rotation. Seems to have got round, but the exit's not that great. You can see him, especially with that Mercedes and that great traction up corners. He's right there, and he's probably going to put it up the inside, I think, to try and get through in the chicane. No, he goes around the outside. I try and get a wider line as possible whilst trying to give him the space, because all of the time you have to leave the space, as Fernando Alonso once proudly proclaimed. Now I seem to have got a bit of air between myself and P1. You can see that it always looks further away in the rearview mirror, which I think kind of helps a bit. It makes you feel like the opponent is a bit further away than they actually are, but when you actually look directly behind, they are actually really quite close. You can see here, probably about half a second behind, getting reasonable. I was a little bit slow at that last corner, but didn't slide or anything like that, so it seemed to be pulling away a little bit. The FT1 actually, often people say it's a handling car. It handles reasonably well, but a little bit understeered, but quite stable. But I think actually it does have pretty decent straight line speed. The Mercedes, as you know, is pretty handy in a straight line, not the fastest, but didn't really catch up to us there. And I found on the long straights, actually, the FT1 kind of hold its own, especially in the kind of first half of the acceleration zone. It tends to have pretty good first half acceleration. For the second half, with the top speed, some other cars like the Supra or the new silhouettes more easily outdrag it if it's on a longer straight. But I think, yeah, when it comes to kind of medium to long straights, so the FT1 is a pretty decent car actually, quite stable as well. And what I find is that it's quite easy to counter the understeer, because if you apply quite thorough trail braking, it's an FR car, so trail braking works quite well. With a bit of trail braking, you can kind of cover the understeer and kind of turn it in like, well, that wasn't really a great example actually there, but you can get a bit of bite with a bit more trail braking in this car. If you don't do the trail braking, it will just understeer like hell, and it won't turn it in. But with the trail braking, it works pretty well. and with the stability it means that you don't have to kind of worry about cars sliding mid-corner like with all of the mid-engine cars, Porsche, cough cough. And going into the last corner, you can see actually the two Mercedes there. They are a little bit closer to me now, and I'm feeling a bit like Max Verstappen at the French Grand Prix just gone with the two Mercedes. They weren't that close behind, but there were two Mercedes behind. Got two Mercedes behind here. YSPO has set the fastest lap. I think just a little faster than me, so I think he's a couple of tenths faster, maybe due to slipstream. But then considering he's actually behind the other Mercedes with dirty air, that's pretty good going. So I can't hang around here. It's taken the fastest first sector by 1/100th of a second, which I think was pretty good without the slipstream. Going around this corner, very easy to run wide here. This FG1 is not the best around that corner. It does tend to understeer a bit, but it's not too bad. I think Mercedes is a very popular option, but I've never really taken to it. It doesn't really suit my style. I find the brakes are a bit spongy. Like corners like this, for example, I always overshoot it in the Mercedes, and then it kind of feels really heavy at the front. I mean, it feels good out the corners, it has a good bite out of the corners, but apart from that, I don't really like it, to be honest. It feels a bit too heavy. Maybe, yeah, if I get used to it, I can maybe make the most of it. But yeah, as you can see, two Mercedes behind. Obviously, yeah, it's a very popular car, very fast, reasonable and fueled as well. Tyre wear not too bad, but it's not my cup of tea. As we come through now into the last corner, coming onto the 5th and last lap of this sprint race, there is, I think, tyre wear, actually very slight tyre wear, 1 times, and there is fuel wear. You can see the fuel gauge slightly lower, so I do have to consider the tyre wear a little bit as I set the fastest lap, and the YSPO immediately brakes that. Obviously you can see the fastest laps. Oh, and you can see YSPO going for a move there. Let's hope he doesn't do a missile straight into me. No, he gets it slowed down, but I think he's run wide there. You can see it behind the rearview mirror, and I think the Emergency Express guy in the 2nd place, yeah, he takes back that 2nd place. So yeah, as I was saying, yeah, in terms of fuel, obviously the fuel going down, so the lap times are coming down a little bit. Obviously, you do have to take that into account. Always very easy when you're very used to kind of qualifying or setting times with no tyre wear, no fuel. Then you come into the race with the fuel, you know, heavy car, braking points are all a little bit different. It's very easy to make a mistake. But yeah, on the soft tyres, it's pretty easy to manage. When it's hard tyres and fuel, that's when it's kind of feels a bit. The car can feel like a bit of a lump, to be honest. But coming through the last chicane here now. Got a reasonable gap behind, so I think we should be safe. Coming into the last few corners now. Well, I slowed down a bit too much there, really. But it seems like the guys behind aren't catching up, really fighting between themselves. Going into first, a bit of rotation. I think I've taken that in 2nd. Sometimes 2nd does work as well. But I think I like taking the first just to be a bit safe, especially when it's the last lap and there's not much point in trying to extend the gap. Just make sure you maintain it. And there we are, across the line for a pretty decent win. So I hope you enjoyed that, and hope to see you next time.